Jake Morrison stood on the crumbling wall of New Haven as alien ships filled the sky above him. Blood ran down his face from a cut on his forehead. His rifle felt heavy in his hands after 3 days of fighting without sleep. Around him, the last defenders of humanity fired their weapons at the massive Zephyrian, warships that hovered like dark clouds over their city. The alien energy beams cut through buildings like they were made of paper. Jake watched another section of the wall explode in blue fire. 3 more soldiers died in that blast. He had known them since they were children. Now there were only 20 humans left alive in the entire settlement. Captain Morrison, shouted Dr. Elena Rodriguez as she ran up the stone steps to reach him. Her lab coat was torn and dirty. She carried a small metal device in her hands. I found something in the old archives. Something from before the war started. Jake looked at her with tired eyes. The Zephyrians had been attacking Earth for 10 years. They had destroyed every major city on the planet. New Haven was supposed to be hidden deep in the mountains where the aliens could not find it. That plan had failed like all the others. "What did you find, Elena?" Jake asked as another energy beam destroyed the building next to them. The heat from the blast made his skin burn. "There was a facility built under the Antarctic ice over 100 years ago," Elena said while breathing hard. "The records show it was built after humanity first made contact with aliens. They put something down there, Jake. Something they called the Frost Guard." Jake fired his rifle at a Zephyrian fighter that flew low over the city. The bullets bounced off its shields without doing any damage. "What kind of something?" "Super soldiers," Elena replied. "Enhanced humans who were put into deep freeze as a last resort. The facility has been waiting for a signal to wake them up." The ground shook as alien troops landed in the city center. Jake could see their tall blue forms moving through the smoke. Each Zephyrian soldier was 8 feet tall with armor that could stop any human weapon. They had 4 arms and moved faster than any human could run. "How do we send this signal?" Jake asked while reloading his rifle. He knew they only had minutes before the aliens reached the wall. Elena held up the metal device. "This beacon was hidden in the archives. It sends a quantum signal through the ice directly to the facility, but someone has to activate it manually." Jake looked at the device and then at the alien army moving toward them. The other defenders were falling back from the wall. Soon the Zephyrians would be climbing over the stones where he stood. "Will it work?" he asked. "I do not know," Elena admitted. "The technology is old, and I have never seen anything like it before. But it might be our only chance." Jake took the beacon from her hands. It was warm to the touch and hummed with energy. Strange symbols glowed on its surface. "Get to the bunker, Elena. Take whoever is left and hide." "What about you?" she asked. "Someone has to make sure this signal gets sent," Jake replied. He looked at the approaching aliens and made his choice. "Tell me how to activate it." Elena quickly explained how the device worked. "Press the red button and hold it for 10 seconds. The signal will send automatically after that." Jake nodded and checked his rifle one more time. "Go now. If this works, those super soldiers will need someone alive to tell them what happened here." Elena ran down the steps toward the bunker. Jake watched her disappear into the smoke and flames. Then he turned to face the alien army that was now climbing the wall. The first Zephyrian soldier reached the top of the wall 50 feet away from Jake. It was huge and moved with deadly grace. Its 4 arms held weapons that glowed with blue energy. The alien saw Jake and pointed one of its weapons at him. Jake pressed the red button on the beacon and started counting. 1 second, 2 seconds. The Zephyrian fired and the energy beam barely missed Jake's head. 3 seconds, 4 seconds. Jake fired his rifle at the alien, but the bullets did no damage. More Zephyrians reached the top of the wall. They surrounded Jake from both sides. 5 seconds, 6 seconds. Jake kept firing his rifle even though he knew it was useless. 7 seconds, 8 seconds. A Zephyrian energy weapon hit Jake in the shoulder and spun him around. He fell to his knees but kept holding the beacon. 9 seconds, 10 seconds. The device beeped once and Jake felt it grow hot in his hands. The beacon sent its signal down through the earth toward the Antarctic ice. The quantum message traveled faster than light through rock and metal and frozen water. Deep below the ice, something received the signal and began to wake up. Jake smiled as alien weapons pointed at him from every direction. "You think you won," he said to the Zephyrians. "You think humanity is finished. But you do not know what we are capable of when we have nothing left to lose." The aliens did not understand his words, but they understood his defiance. Energy beams struck Jake from multiple directions, and his body fell forward onto the stone wall. The beacon rolled away from his dead hands, but its job was done. Below in the bunker, Elena heard the weapons fire stop. She knew Jake was dead. She knew New Haven had fallen. She knew the last free humans on Earth were now prisoners or corpses. But she also knew the signal had been sent because she had seen the beacon activate before Jake died. The Zephyrians took control of New Haven within an hour. They captured the few humans who were still alive and loaded them onto transport ships. Elena was among the prisoners, but she said nothing about the beacon or the facility under the ice. As the alien ships carried the last humans away from their mountain home, Elena looked out through a small window. She could see Jake's body still lying on the wall where he had made his final stand. She whispered a prayer for him, and for all the humans who had died fighting the invasion, but Elena also felt something the aliens could never understand, hope. Because somewhere far below the Antarctic Ice 31, enhanced human warriors were beginning to wake up from their long sleep. The frost guard was coming, and the Zephyrians had no idea what was about to hit them. The beacon signal had traveled thousands of miles through the Earth and reached its destination. Ancient machines started working again after more than a century of silence. Cryogenic pods began their warming cycles. Super soldiers who had been sleeping since before the war started were about to open their eyes. Jake Morrison had died, believing his sacrifice meant something. He was right. 3 miles below the Antarctic ice, the facility had been waiting for over 100 years. The quantum signal from Jake Morrison's beacon reached the ancient computers and triggered systems that had been dormant since 2087. Warning lights began flashing in empty corridors. Machines that had been silent for decades started humming with power. In the main chamber, 31 cryogenic pods lined the walls like metal coffins. Frost covered their surfaces and ice had formed around their bases. Inside each pod lay a human who had volunteered to sleep until humanity needed them most. That moment had finally arrived. Commander Alex Stone was the first to wake up. His enhanced nervous system responded faster than the others as warming chemicals flowed through his body. His eyes opened, and he saw the curved metal ceiling of his pod through a layer of condensation. His neural implants came online and fed information directly into his brain. Alex pushed open the pod door and stepped onto the cold metal floor. His body felt different than he remembered, stronger, faster. The genetic modifications and cybernetic enhancements had continued developing during his long sleep. He was no longer just human. He was something more. Around him, other pods began opening as his team members woke up. Lieutenant Maya Chen emerged from her pod with electricity dancing between her fingers. Her electromagnetic abilities had grown more powerful during the century of sleep. Sergeant Ben Torres stretched muscles that could now bend steel bars with ease. Corporal Lisa Park stepped out of her pod and immediately began shifting color to match the metal walls around her. Status report Atlas. Alex said to the facility's artificial intelligence. A holographic face appeared in the air above them. Commander Stone, welcome back to the world. The date is March 15, 2187. Earth's surface has been under alien occupation for 10 years. Human population is estimated at fewer than 10,000 survivors held in labor camps. Maya Chen's face showed shock as she processed this information. 100 years, Alex. We have been asleep for 100 years and Earth still fell. Not fell, Maya. Alex replied as he moved to a weapons locker and began putting on his armor. Earth was conquered, but humanity is not extinct yet. That is why we are here. Ben Torres cracked his knuckles and the sound echoed through the chamber like gunshots. So what is the plan, Commander? Do we just walk up to the surface and start fighting aliens? First, we need intelligence, Alex said as he checked his rifle. The weapon had been upgraded while he slept and now fired rounds that could punch through any known armor. Atlas, show us what we are dealing with. The hologram changed to display images of Earth's surface. Alien cities rose from the ruins of human civilization. Strange towers reached into the sky and generated energy fields that changed the atmosphere itself. Zephyrian soldiers patrolled in groups while human slaves worked in massive mining operations. The Zephyrian Empire controls all major population centers, Atlas explained. They have established processing facilities where humans are forced to extract resources for the alien war machine. Resistance has been minimal due to the technological gap between human and Zephyrian weapons. Lisa Park studied the images with her enhanced vision. Their patrols follow predictable patterns. They do not expect any real threat from the remaining humans. That will be their mistake. Alex nodded as he finished suiting up in his advanced armor. Atlas, what weapons and equipment do we have available? The facility contains enough supplies for extended operations, Commander. Weapons designed specifically to counter alien technology, vehicles that can remain undetected by Zephyrian sensors, and most importantly, access to the underground tunnel network that connects to hidden bases across the planet. Maya Chen's eyes glowed with blue energy as she tested her abilities. They conquered a world of normal humans, Alex. They have never faced anything like us. That is exactly what I'm counting on, Alex replied. He looked at his team of 30 super soldiers and felt pride in what humanity had accomplished. Each warrior represented years of research and development. Each had volunteered to sacrifice their normal lives for the chance to protect their species. Listen up, everyone, Alex announced to the group. We are humanity's final gambit. The last card our species had to play. Every other plan failed. Every other army was defeated. Now it is our turn. Ben Torres grinned as he lifted a weapon that would have been too heavy for a normal human to carry. I have been waiting 100 years for this fight, Commander. We all have been, Alex replied. But remember, we are not just fighting for revenge. We are fighting to give humanity a future. There are still 10,000 of our people alive up there, and they are counting on us even if they do not know we exist. Atlas provided each team member with updated mission briefings through their neural implants. The AI had spent decades analyzing Zephyrian weaknesses and developing strategies for asymmetric warfare. The aliens' advanced technology was also their greatest vulnerability because they had become dependent on it. Phase 1 is reconnaissance and rescue, Alex explained as they moved toward the facility's exit. We locate the nearest prisoner camp and extract as many humans as possible. We need to understand how the aliens operate and what kind of resistance we can expect. Lisa Park's skin shifted to match the color and texture of her surroundings. They will not even see us coming. The elevator carried them up through 3 miles of ice and rock toward the surface. Alex felt the weight of humanity's survival on his shoulders, but he also felt something else. Excitement. For over a century, he had dreamed of this moment. The chance to prove that humanity could not be defeated. Maya Chen checked her equipment one final time. Do you think we can really do this, Alex? 31 soldiers against an entire galactic empire? Maya, we are not just 31 soldiers, Alex replied. We are 31 humans who refuse to give up. That makes us the most dangerous thing in the galaxy. The elevator reached the surface and the doors opened to reveal a world transformed. Alien structures dotted the landscape and strange vehicles moved across the sky. But Alex Stone looked at the occupied planet and smiled. The Zephyrians thought they had won. They thought humanity was finished. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Ben Torres stepped out into the alien world and breathed air that had been changed by enemy technology. Time to remind the galaxy why you never count humans out of a fight. Lisa Park became invisible as she moved ahead to scout for threats. Maya Chen's hands crackled with electromagnetic energy that could disable any alien device. Alex Stone raised his rifle and felt the enhanced reflexes and tactical processing that made him more than human. The Frost Guard had awakened, and Earth's real war was about to begin. The world above the ice was nothing like Alex Stone remembered. Where green forest once covered the Antarctic landscape, now stood twisted metal towers that hummed with alien energy. The sky itself had changed color from the atmospheric processors the Zephyrians used to make Earth more suitable for their physiology. Alex and his team moved across the transformed terrain like ghosts. Their armor had been designed to remain invisible to alien sensors, and their enhanced abilities let them travel faster and quieter than any normal human could. Lisa Park scouted ahead using her adaptive camouflage while Maya Chen monitored electromagnetic frequencies for enemy communications. Contact, Lisa whispered through their neural link. Processing facility 2 kilometers north. Large structure with multiple guard towers. I count approximately 50 Zephyrian soldiers and maybe 300 human prisoners. Alex studied the tactical data that Lisa transmitted to his implants. The facility was heavily defended, but the aliens clearly did not expect any real threat. Their patrols were lazy and their weapons were not even powered up to full charge. Ben, you and Lisa take the perimeter guards, Alex commanded. Maya, disable their communications and power systems. I will handle the command center. We go silent and fast. No alarms. The team moved into position as the alien sun set behind the processing facility. Ben Torres approached the first guard tower where 2 Zephyrian soldiers stood watch. The aliens were 8 feet tall with blue skin and 4 arms, but Ben had been enhanced far beyond normal human limits. Ben leaped 30 feet straight up and landed on the guard tower platform. The first alien turned toward him in surprise, but Ben's enhanced speed let him strike before the creature could react. His fist punched through the alien's armor like it was made of cardboard. The second guard tried to raise an alarm, but Ben caught all 4 of its arms and crushed them with his bare hands. Lisa Park had already eliminated 3 more guards using her stealth abilities. She appeared behind each alien like a shadow and disabled them before they even knew she was there. Her enhanced reflexes and training made her the perfect assassin. Maya Chen found the facility's power grid and placed her hands on the main conduit. Blue electricity flowed from her fingers into the alien technology. The Zephyrians had built their systems to resist normal electromagnetic pulses, but Maya's abilities were far beyond anything they had encountered. The facility's lights went out and emergency power failed to activate. Alex entered the command center, where 4 Zephyrian officers were trying to understand why their equipment had stopped working. He moved through them like death itself. His enhanced reflexes let him dodge their energy weapons while his rifle fired rounds that tore through their advanced armor. In less than 5 minutes, the facility was under human control. Not a single alarm had been triggered and no distress signal had been sent. To the rest of the Zephyrian Empire, this processing facility simply vanished from their networks without explanation. Alex found Dr. Elena Rodriguez among the human prisoners. She looked older and thinner than when he had seen her in the historical records, but her eyes still held the intelligence and determination that had helped discover the Antarctic facility. "Dr. Rodriguez," Alex said as he opened her cell. "My name is Commander Alex Stone. I received your signal." Elena stared at him in shock. The beacon worked. Jake's sacrifice actually worked. Jake Morrison was a hero, Alex replied. His signal woke us up, and now we are here to finish what he started. As the Frost Guard freed the other prisoners, Elena explained what had happened during the 10 years of occupation. The Zephyrians had treated humans like animals. They forced people to work in mines and factories while conducting experiments on human neural patterns. "They are trying to create some kind of control device," Elena said, as they evacuated the facility. "Something that can influence the thoughts of other alien species. They think human brains hold the key to this technology." Ben Torres carried supplies that would have required a full truck for normal humans to transport. "Then we make sure they never get the chance to finish their research." The team established a temporary base in the abandoned facility while they planned their next move. Maya Chen had extracted data from the alien computers that showed locations of other prisoner camps across the planet. There were dozens of sites holding the last remnants of humanity. "We cannot save everyone at once," Alex admitted as he studied the intelligence reports. "But we can make the aliens think they are facing a much larger force than 31 soldiers." Lisa Park smiled as she tested new equipment they had taken from the Zephyrians. "Psychological warfare. Make them afraid of shadows and see threats where none exist." Over the following weeks, the Frost Guard struck again and again at alien installations. They hit supply convoys and communication relays. They sabotaged equipment and eliminated patrols. Each attack was perfectly planned and flawlessly executed. The Zephyrians began reporting encounters with invisible enemies who struck without warning and vanished before reinforcements could arrive. Their reports described humans with impossible abilities who seemed to appear and disappear at will. Commander Vextar read these reports in his command ship, orbiting Earth, and felt something he had never experienced before: uncertainty. His empire had conquered dozens of worlds and enslaved hundreds of species, but none had ever fought back like this. "How can 30 or 40 primitive humans cause so much damage?" Vextar demanded of his officers. "They have no advanced technology or weapons that can threaten our forces." His intelligence chief responded nervously. "Sir, our analysts believe these are not normal humans. The attack patterns suggest enhanced capabilities far beyond baseline human norms. Speed, strength, and coordination that should not be possible." Vextar struck his desk with all 4 fists. "Impossible. We studied human genetics for years before the invasion. They are weak, fragile creatures with no significant combat abilities." But the attacks continued and grew bolder. The Frost Guard rescued more prisoners from each facility they hit. Elena Rodriguez worked with the freed scientists to analyze captured alien technology and develop countermeasures. Soon they had weapons that could damage Zephyrian shields and vehicles that could match alien aircraft in speed. Alex Stone stood on a hill overlooking a burning alien supply depot and felt satisfaction at what his team had accomplished. In just 1 month, they had freed over 2,000 human prisoners and destroyed millions of credits worth of enemy equipment. The resistance is growing, Maya Chen reported as she joined him. Humans in other camps are starting to fight back on their own. They have hope again. Hope is the most dangerous weapon humanity has ever created, Alex replied. Once people believe they can win, they become unstoppable. Ben Torres approached carrying the wreckage of a Zephyrian war machine over his shoulder. Commander, we found something interesting in their data files. The aliens have been sending reports to their home world about mysterious ghost soldiers who cannot be killed or captured. Alex smiled as he read the alien intelligence reports. The Zephyrians were describing his team as supernatural beings who could walk through walls and disappear into thin air. Fear was spreading through their ranks as soldiers began refusing to patrol alone. Good, Alex said. Let them be afraid. Fear makes people stupid, and stupid enemies make mistakes. Lisa Park materialized next to them carrying alien weapons she had taken from the depot. The local commander is requesting reinforcements from orbit. They think they are facing a full human army. In a way they are, Alex replied. Every human we free becomes a soldier in this war. Every alien we kill weakens their hold on our planet. We are not just 31 people anymore. We are the beginning of humanity's comeback. The Frost Guard had been awake for only 1 month, but they had already changed the course of the war. The aliens who thought they had conquered Earth were learning that humanity had one more card to play, and it was a winning hand. Commander Vextar paced the bridge of his orbital command ship as another facility went dark on the planet below. In 3 months, he had lost contact with 27 processing centers and 43 patrol units. His invasion force that had conquered Earth in less than 2 years was being torn apart by an enemy he could not see or understand. Sir, we are receiving emergency transmissions from mining complex 7, his communications officer reported. They claim to be under attack by invisible humans who can tear through our armor with their bare hands. Vextar watched the tactical display as the complex's signals suddenly ceased. Another facility lost. Another group of his soldiers dead or missing. The pattern was always the same. No warning. No survivors. No explanation. How many? He asked quietly. Unknown, sir. Intelligence estimates range from 50 to 500 enhanced humans, operating across multiple continents. Vextar's forearms trembled with rage. 50 humans are destroying an army that conquered this entire planet. How is that possible? On the surface, Alex Stone and his team were asking themselves the same question from a different perspective. How could 31 soldiers have achieved so much in such a short time? The answer was simple. They were not fighting alone anymore. Dr. Elena Rodriguez had used alien technology to enhance nearly 1,000 rescued humans with basic genetic modifications. The improvements were minor compared to the Frost Guard's abilities, but they gave normal people the strength and speed needed to fight back effectively. The enhancement process is working better than expected, Elena reported as she monitored the latest group of volunteers. Their bodies are adapting to the modifications faster than our original projections. Alex watched through the medical bay windows as dozens of humans underwent the enhancement procedure. Each person who completed the process became a warrior, capable of matching Zephyrian soldiers in combat. They were creating an army from the ashes of their conquered species. Ben Torres entered the command center carrying a captured alien communication device. Commander, we intercepted something you need to hear. The device projected a holographic message from Vextar to his forces planet-wide. The alien commander's voice carried a tone Alex had never heard from a Zephyrian before. Fear. All units are to operate in groups of no fewer than 10 soldiers, Vextar ordered. Report any unusual activity immediately. These ghost humans appear to have capabilities our intelligence never detected. Consider them extremely dangerous. Maya Chen laughed as she listened to the message. They think we are ghosts. That is actually not too far from the truth. What do you mean? Elena asked. We died 100 years ago, Elena, Maya replied. Everyone we knew and cared about is gone. Our old lives ended when we went into the ice. Now we exist for one purpose only, to make our enemies pay for what they did to our species. Alex nodded as he studied reports from resistance cells across the planet. Hidden bunkers were opening and revealing weapons caches that Atlas had been preparing for over a century. Sleeper agents placed throughout human society before the invasion were finally activating. The war was expanding beyond anything the Zephyrians had planned for. Atlas, how many resistance cells are now active? Alex asked the facility's AI. 47 confirmed groups operating on 6 continents, Commander. Estimated total strength of 8,000 human fighters, with more joining every day. Lisa Park materialized in the center of the room, having just returned from a scouting mission. The aliens are pulling back from isolated outposts. They are concentrating their forces around major population centers and leaving the countryside to us. That is a mistake, Alex said with satisfaction. The more they cluster together, the easier they are to find. And the more humans they leave unguarded, the faster our resistance grows. The truth was that humanity had been preparing for this war longer than anyone realized. The first alien contact in 2087 had not been peaceful as the history books claimed. It had been a probe by an advanced scout ship that humanity destroyed after learning about the Zephyrian Empire's plans for Earth. Atlas had spent the following century analyzing captured alien technology and developing countermeasures. Secret facilities had been built around the world. Enhanced humans had been trained and placed in cryogenic sleep. Weapons had been designed. Plans had been made. The Zephyrian invasion had not caught humanity completely unprepared. It had triggered the largest and most complex military operation in human history. Ben Torres led a raid on a supply convoy that resulted in the capture of enough alien weapons to equip 300 resistance fighters. The enhanced humans could now match Zephyrian soldiers in firepower, as well as physical ability. Their plasma rifles are actually quite simple once you understand the technology, Elena explained as she modified captured weapons for human use. The power cells last twice as long when operated by humans because our nervous systems are more efficient. Alex smiled at the irony. The aliens' own weapons were working better in human hands than in their original owners. It was becoming a pattern. Everything the Zephyrians had built to control Earth was being turned against them. Maya Chen had learned to disrupt their computer networks on a planetary scale. Her electromagnetic abilities could now reach through orbital satellites and interfere with communications between ships. The alien fleet was starting to lose coordination, as their systems failed one by one. I am picking up massive troop movements from their main base, Maya reported as she monitored enemy communications. Vexitar is pulling soldiers from across the planet for some kind of major operation. He is getting desperate, Alex realized. The attacks are working too well. He needs to end this before more humans join the resistance. Lisa Park had infiltrated the alien command structure and learned about Vextar's plan. The Zephyrian commander intended to destroy every human settlement on Earth and start over with a completely automated mining operation. No more prisoners. No more labor camps. Just extermination. We have maybe a week before he begins the final phase, Lisa reported. Orbital bombardment of every human population center, followed by surface sterilization. Alex gathered his team and the resistance leaders for an emergency meeting. The humans had achieved more than anyone thought possible, but they were still vastly outnumbered. Vextar's orbital fleet could destroy the planet's surface if he decided the conquest was costing too much. We need to take the fight to orbit, Alex announced. As long as those ships are up there, we cannot win. Elena checked her data files and found something that made her smile. Atlas has one more surprise for us. Something that has been hidden in the lunar cave since before the invasion started. What kind of surprise? Ben asked. The kind that flies, Elena replied, and carries enough firepower to take on a Zephyrian battle fleet. Alex felt the excitement of his enhanced nervous system as he realized what Elena meant. Humanity had not just prepared soldiers and weapons for this war. They had prepared ships. Hidden in the darkness of space were vessels that had been waiting for over a century to join the fight. Atlas, Alex commanded, activate the Lunar Defense Network. Yes, Commander, the AI replied. Welcome to Phase 2 of the liberation of Earth. On the dark side of the moon, ancient hangar doors began to open. Ships that had been built using captured alien technology and enhanced with human innovation prepared for launch. The Zephyrians thought they controlled space around Earth. They were about to learn how wrong they were about that too. The human ships emerged from the lunar caves like ancient predators awakening from a long sleep. 12 vessels built with technology, that combined the best of human engineering with captured alien systems. They had been waiting in the darkness for over a century, and now their time had finally come. Alex Stone stood on the bridge of the lead ship as Earth grew larger in the main viewing screen. Behind him, Maya Chen operated the ship's electronic warfare systems, while Ben Torres manned the weapons console. Lisa Park coordinated with the resistance fighters on the planet's surface. Zephyrian fleet is moving to intercept, Maya reported as alien ships changed course to face this unexpected threat. They seem confused about where we came from. Good, Alex replied. Confusion leads to mistakes, and we need them to make a lot of mistakes very quickly. Commander Vextar watched from his flagship as the unknown vessels approached his fleet. His sensors indicated they were using Zephyrian technology, but in configurations his people had never developed. The ships moved with an unpredictability that made them difficult to target. Who are they? Vextar demanded. Where did these ships come from? His tactical officer studied the sensor readings with growing alarm. Sir, the hull configurations suggest human construction, but the power signatures match our own technology. It should not be possible. Nothing about these humans has been possible, Vextar replied with growing anger. They should have been extinct years ago, but instead they keep appearing with capabilities that should not exist. The first exchange of fire between the fleets lit up space around Earth. The human ships proved faster and more maneuverable than their alien counterparts. Alex had studied Zephyrian tactics for months and knew exactly how their commanders thought. They fight like a computer, Alex observed as he watched the alien formation. Logical and predictable. Ben target their flagship and give them something illogical to think about. Ben Torres fired a full spread of missiles that seemed to miss their target completely. The Zephyrian defense systems ignored the apparently wayward shots and focused on the direct threats. That was their mistake. The missiles Alex had ordered were not trying to hit the flagship directly. They were designed to detonate around the ship and create an electromagnetic field that would disrupt alien sensors and communications. Maya Chen amplified the effect with her own abilities, and suddenly the entire Zephyrian fleet was flying blind. Now, Alex commanded. The human ships attacked from angles the aliens could not detect. Their weapons had been specifically designed to punch through Zephyrian shields and armor. Within minutes, 3 alien cruisers were destroyed and 2 more were badly damaged. Tar felt his ship shake from weapons impacts and realized he was facing an enemy that understood his technology better than he did. These humans had studied Zephyrian systems and developed counters for every defense. All ships focus fire on the lead human vessel, Vextar ordered. Destroy their command ship and the rest will fall. But Alex had anticipated this response too. As the alien fleet concentrated their fire on his position, Lisa Park activated the ship's most advanced system. The vessel seemed to split into 3 identical copies that moved in different directions. The Zephyrians found themselves firing at holographic projections while the real ship attacked from their blind spot. Alex brought his vessel alongside Vextar's flagship and did something no Zephyrian commander had ever experienced. He rammed his ship directly into the alien hull. The human vessel had been built to survive such an impact. Emergency systems activated as Alex and his team prepared for boarding action. They had come too far to settle for destroying the Zephyrian fleet from a distance. This war needed to end with a face-to-face confrontation. Alex led his team through the breach in the alien ship's hull. The Zephyrians had never been boarded by enemy forces, and their security systems were not designed for internal threats. Ben Torres tore through blast doors like they were made of paper, while Maya Chen disrupted every electronic system they encountered. Lisa Park moved ahead of the group using her stealth abilities to eliminate guards before they could sound alarms. The aliens were disorganized and afraid as these impossible humans carved a path through their most secure vessel. Vextar waited in his command center with his elite guard as the intruders approached. He had studied human combat footage and thought he understood their capabilities. He was wrong about that, just as he had been wrong about everything else. When Alex entered the command center, Vextar saw something that shook him to his core. The human moved with enhanced speed and reflexes that made him seem almost supernatural. His armor absorbed energy weapon fire that should have killed him instantly. His own weapons cut through Zephyrian defenses like they were nothing. This is impossible, Vextar said as his guards fell around him. Humans are weak, primitive creatures. They cannot possess abilities like this. Alex faced the alien commander and felt no sympathy for his confusion. You made one critical error, Vextar. You assumed you understood humanity based on what you observed, but you never bothered to learn what we are capable of when we have time to prepare. The final battle between Alex and Vextar lasted only minutes. The alien commander was enhanced by his own species' technology, but Alex had been designed specifically to fight such opponents. His movements were too fast to follow and his tactics were beyond anything Vextar could predict. When Vextar fell, the Zephyrian fleet lost all coordination. Without their commander's leadership, the remaining ships began retreating toward the edge of the solar system. Maya Chen had taken control of their communication systems and was broadcasting Alex's final message to the defeated aliens. Tell your empire what happened here, Alex commanded as the alien survivors fled Earth's orbit. Tell them that humanity cannot be conquered or controlled or eliminated. Tell them that we will remember what you did to our world, and if you ever return, we will be ready. The Zephyrian ships disappeared into hyperspace carrying news that would spread throughout their empire. Earth was protected by something far more dangerous than any known species. Humans who could adapt and enhance themselves beyond natural limits. Warriors who refused to accept defeat even when facing impossible odds. On the planet's surface, the remaining alien forces surrendered or fled as news of their fleet's destruction reached them. The human resistance emerged from hiding and began the long work of rebuilding their world. Alex stood in the ruins of New Haven, where Jake Morrison had made his final stand. A memorial had been built on the exact spot where the beacon was activated. The names of all the humans who died during the occupation were carved into black stone that reflected the sky above. Was it worth it? Maya Chen asked as she joined him at the memorial. All the death and suffering, all the years of preparation. Was saving humanity worth the price we paid? Alex looked at the growing human settlements in the distance and the ships that were already venturing back into space. Children who had been born in alien labor camps were now playing freely in the sunlight. Scientists were working to restore Earth's damaged ecosystem. Engineers were building better defenses for the next time enemies came calling. Jake Morrison died believing his sacrifice would save our species, Alex replied. Dr. Rodriguez spent years in alien prisons because she had faith in humanity's future. Thousands of people endured hell because they refused to give up hope. Yes, Maya, it was worth every sacrifice because humanity deserves to exist. Ben Torres approached carrying reports from around the planet. Commander, the last alien stronghold has surrendered. Earth is free. Earth is free, Alex repeated. But more importantly, humanity has learned that we are never truly defeated as long as even one of us refuses to surrender. The galaxy now knows what happens when they underestimate the human spirit. Lisa Park smiled as she looked up at the stars where human ships were already beginning patrols. Let them come again if they dare. We will be ready for them. The Frost Guard had completed their mission, but they knew their work was not finished. Somewhere in the galaxy, the Zephyrian Empire was warning other species about the dangerous humans who had destroyed their fleet. Soon Earth would face new threats from creatures who had heard the stories and wanted to test humanity for themselves. Alex Stone welcomed those future challenges because he had learned something important during the war. Humanity's greatest strength was not their technology or their weapons or even their enhanced abilities. It was their absolute refusal to accept defeat. No matter how many times humans fell, they always found a way to get back up. That was what made them the most dangerous species in the galaxy, not because they were the strongest or the smartest, but because they never knew when to quit. The last human had fallen, but humanity had risen again stronger than ever. And they would keep rising no matter what the universe threw at them, because that was what humans did. They survived. They adapted. They fought back, and they never ever gave up.